Hello, I'm Dr. Deborah Braboy with Anchored Hope Counseling. Thank you for stopping by our YouTube page called Hope Talks. Please stay tuned for our upcoming episode. Hello, thank you for joining us today. I'm Dr. Deborah Braboy here at Anchored Hope Counseling. I'm a licensed counselor. And I'm with Marcia McGlone. She's a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and she provides med management here for our clients. So today we're just going to talk a little about the importance of getting good sleep and sleep hygiene. So one thing that is not just noticed by us here, but just in the whole, I just think culturally, is that we are sleep deprived. And I remember hearing a few years ago about the fact that sleep disorders are really underdiagnosed and they're really undertreated, and it's not really emphasized much, but the importance of it is so significant because when we don't get the sleep that we need, our bodies mentally, physically, emotionally aren't able to function to their potential. So share with us what you kind of see when you're working with your clients and they may have depression and how sleep plays into that, or anxiety. They may be staying up, worrying about things, and it's impacting their sleep. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, sleep is a big problem with a lot of my patients. And so we go over their sleep habits. What time do you go to bed? And they probably get tired of me asking, what time did you go to bed last night? What time did you get out of bed this morning? How many times did you wake up? So there's also sleep diaries. I try to get them to do sleep diaries. How long did it take you to get to sleep? Are you having trouble going to sleep? Are your thoughts going and going and going? Because a lot of times with a major depressive disorder, the thoughts go and go and go. Also with anxiety and OCD. You have these thoughts that when you lay down and everything's quiet, the mind starts going and going and it can't calm itself down. So there's ways to do that. It's just trying to do it, because most people, we just lay down and want to go to sleep. And then when we wake up, I personally, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I get mad. I get very angry sometimes. I'm like, I'm awake. Now I'm awake. And it's hard to go back to sleep, but there are ways to do it. But we don't know really how people sleep, except by what they tell us.
Right. And it's important that we ask them. And I think a lot of times when I'm asking clients to describe their sleep, they're like, well, nobody's ever asked me about my sleep before, but it's so important. And you talked about like getting frustrated when you wake up in the night, and that it's because you're like, I should be sleeping right now. And then of course that's what you're ruminating about, like I should be sleeping right now. But so what are some of the habits that you kind of alluded to that would help us with our sleep?
One I tell everyone is to get a regular schedule. And I know it's so hard, especially nowadays when we're isolating at home, especially if you're quarantined. I've seen a lot of problems with whole families and their sleep during quarantine. Try to stay on a regular schedule. Go to bed at 10, get up at 6. Some people don't work normal hours, so it's even more difficult for them sometimes.
Sure, yeah.
They go to work at 12 and they get off at 12 midnight, and so they don't have a regular schedule. But it's important just to find some kind of schedule.
Right. And along with that too is our phones. So most of us, we keep our phone right on our nightstand. And I know for maybe the younger generation, maybe not so much our generation, but every time it pings or vibrates or something, this need to look at it. And that's affecting our sleep too. I think that's really something we've got to kind of examine, maybe keeping it in another area of the house or another area of the room so that we don't feel this hallucinated urgency to attend to every little buzz, chirp, whatever our phone may be doing. But I think that plays into our sleep pattern and sleep habits also.
It does. I tell everyone, turn your phone off, put it upside down. And a lot of people now are using phones for alarm clocks. But I say, can we just please go back to alarm clocks?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And the other aspect too is that we have the phones that we're just kind of watching until we go to sleep. And the screen is bright, so our body doesn't regulate like it's time for sleep. It's dark. We're supposed to be shutting things down, calming our mind and all of that. And so we have this bright screen in front of us until we decide we're going to shut it off and go to sleep. And we don't just go to sleep, and it's a little frustrating, but it's because we've kind of activated our brain by being on our tablets or our phones or things like that. So that's something too that I always kind of assess with clients, like, are you on your phone right before you go to sleep? And I don't think I've really ever had anybody say no. So it's something that I kind of suggest, like, you know, create this sanctuary in your room, and your body kind of become accustomed to the fact that I'm in bed now. Bed means sleep. I'm not going to be on social media. I'm not going to be, you know, doing things that would, you know, trigger my brain that I need to stay awake. One habit I had in the past, like, I just lived in my bed. I graded papers in my bed. I read in my, you know, so my body didn't know that was sleep time necessarily. So to kind of have a designated area just for your sleep that's apart from where you do other things is important, I think, too.
Very important. It's also important, like, I tell people, if you have a Fitbit or Apple Watch or something, use it to track your sleep, because a lot of people tell me they wake up 4 or 5 times a night. And I ask, how long do you stay awake? Well, they don't know. So I'm like, try and get a Fitbit, just one of the cheaper ones or something, and pay attention to how many times you are waking up. Because a lot of times when things we do affects our sleep during the night. Like, if you drink alcohol, too much alcohol, it affects your REM sleep. A lot of things affect, but alcohol is one of them. So you don't get into that good sleep that you need. And also, when our mind is overactive, if you can journal before you go to bed, take that little quiet time and just write down what you're worried about and make that your worry time. Also, it's very important to not take naps during the day, because that interferes with your sleep at night. And I tell people, if you're taking a nap during the day, take that off your total time sleep for the 24 hours. Like, if you're taking a 2-hour nap, then you might not sleep 8 hours at nighttime. You might only sleep 6. So try to avoid the naps. And also, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you cannot go back to sleep, get up. Just get up. Stay up for 20 minutes or until you feel tired again. The next night, do the same thing. And in 2 nights, you're gonna sleep. You're gonna eventually sleep.
It'll reset your body.
It resets your body.
Yeah.
We all have a switch in our brain. And I didn't realize it until I was thinking about it the other day. There is a switch in the brain. And when we mess up that switch, that's when our sleep gets bad too.
And one thing I wanted to kind of touch on right before we have to wrap up, though, is, you know, I know some people that function seemingly well on 5 or 6 hours of sleep every night, and then others need to have more. I'm in the camp that needs a little more than even 8 hours. So is there like a set period of time? Like, is there a cookie cutter kind of solution that we should all be striving for? Or how do we know if we're getting enough sleep?
If you feel rested when you wake up, that is the main important thing. Do you feel tired during the day? Do you fall asleep easily during the day? If you're okay during the day, then 6 hours sleep is okay. Some people do function on that. The normal sleep habits is 7 to 9 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, so that, I just think it's important that we kind of be aware of that. It goes back to that self-awareness and just knowing really what our body needs. And it's just one of those elements in physical self-care is getting good sleep.
And there's multiple things that affect our sleep.
Just being aware of that.
Yeah, it's just you have to be aware of what's going on around you. It's very important also when you wake up in the morning to have bright light. It resets your brain again. So that's why I guess our mothers came in the room, flipped on the light and opened the curtains and say it's time to get up.
Right.
There was a reason behind that.
And they didn't even know the research.
No. Turn on the light.
Yeah. Well, thank you for talking with me about that today, Marcia. We covered a lot of different aspects about the importance of sleep and sleep habits. I hope you've enjoyed this session. If you did, please feel free to look at our other YouTube content on our Anchor to Hope Counseling YouTube page called Hope Talks. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Alia. Please like this video and subscribe to my mommy's YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified when my